Well, welcome back to Module 3, Protecting You and Your Family. Today we're going to be talking about what if you do and what if you don't take action. So let's recap that the report to the Disability Committee said that you've got a 1 in 2 chance of suffering a critical illness in your working life. Have a look at those events again: stroke, cancer, heart attack, but also other ones that you may not think of, like arthritis, Hodgkin's disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and MS, other forms of potentially life-threatening diseases. That same report also said that Aussies have got 1 in 3 chance of being off work for more than 3 months. So I'd like to remind you of what would be the emotional and financial impact on your families if you suffered one of these traumas. Let's have a look at it. I'd like to ask you 4 vital questions. We already asked the first one in a previous video, but let's recap on it. If something happened to either of you, would you want your family to be the same, better, or worse off? In 10 years of helping people protect their families, I've only had 2 people ever say they'd like their family to be worse off. But how can you do that if you don't have a protection package in place? Second question, how long could you survive without your income? Most people I've talked to, between 4 weeks and 3 months is the maximum, but after that they're going to be in a lot of hot water if they cannot work due to sickness, accident, or death. So work out how long you could survive in your personal situation. Third question, if you or your partner suffered a trauma, cancer, heart attack, or stroke, would you want access to the best medical treatment and a cash cushion to allow the other person to have time off work to look after you? And lastly, if you died, would you want enough funds to pay off your mortgage if you've got one, so your family can stay in your home and a sufficient annual income to pay your bills, go to the same schools, and have the same lifestyle? Without your most valuable asset protected, being your income, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually get the answers to those questions and answer yes to them. Let me show you it in pretty straightforward terms. Income protection is as simple as this. Option 1 is to have 100% of your income now, but if you're sick or injured, you get nothing. Option 2 is to give up about 2% of your income. It all depends, so don't focus too much on the 2%, but to give up 2% of your income, which is totally tax deductible. If you're sick or injured, you'll get paid 80% of your income up to age 65 or even to 70. So have a look at that and think about the choice you want to make for your family. Giving up a small percentage of your income, which is fully tax deductible, in order to be able to give you that long-term security that if anything happens to you, your most valuable asset is protected. The other thing I'd like to make you aware of is something which absolutely fascinates me. You know, in Australia we have a lot of bushfires, we have a lot of floods, a lot of natural disasters. And so it's in our psyche to insure our cars and our homes. But did you know that for every home lost through fire, that there's 4 homes lost through death and 48 homes lost through disablement? What that means is that you're 52 times more likely to lose your home because someone's died without life insurance or someone's had a trauma event without income protection or trauma cover in place. So it doesn't have to be that way. So that's why I'm passionate to reverse those statistics so that Aussies can keep their family home that they've worked so hard for and have even better, get rid of their mortgage if something happens to them. Wouldn't that be fantastic, to be mortgage free when crisis strikes? So I'd like to suggest there's really only 2 alternatives. The first one is having peace of mind. The second one is having stress. So the first option, you get your cover in place, you've got cash when you need it the most, and it just takes all the stress away if something happens. Under the second one, if you don't have cover, the risk of your financial house falling down is quite significant if something happens to you. In the first one, getting income protection, you've got a regular rate of pay, up to 80% of your monthly income, so you and your family can concentrate on getting better rather than thinking about financial woes. Alternatively, you've got to dip into your cash reserves, or even worse, being forced to keep working whilst you're sick. And can you imagine the stress that's going to put on you and your family? Secondly, having a lump sum trauma cover. paying you cash for the best medical treatment plus a cash cushion lump sum so that you and your family can actually take time off work if you need to. Leave without paying, you've got the money. Or the alternative is stresses, you've got larger medical bills, you either can't or don't feel like working. Easy choice again to make. Lastly, death and total and permanent disability cover. Having a lump sum to pay out your mortgage, put food on the table and pay the bills, as opposed to being able to potentially sell your home, like we saw in that MLC example, 52 times more likely to lose your home because you don't have cover in place and accept a lower standard of living. So I'd like to really passionately encourage you to take the time to take action. In this module, we've shown you with all seriousness what could happen if you don't take action and the difference that your life and your family will have if you do take action. So I encourage you, pick up the phone, email me and take action, and we can get your protection cover in place. Thanks for listening.